Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Devils TV, the realist channel on YouTube. I'm sorry there weren't many uploads throughout pre-season. It was quite boring. There wasn't a lot of news to talk about. So in this video, we're going to be ranking every single pre-season game that Manchester United played, talking about players, who to watch out for the season, how will Manchester United start the season. I'm just looking forward to making a video properly for the ones. So anyway, but before we get into today's video, as you know, always leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new. Let's try and get to 2K subscribers before the season actually starts. I'll be massively grateful if we can reach that milestone. But anyway, let's get right into the video. So, first of all, Rosenborg. We lose 1-0, last kick of the game. It was a game where United just didn't deserve to win. Rosenborg were much more aggressive in that game. Plus, obviously, they were halfway through their season with the way the Norwegian league actually works, because due to the climate and weather changes in the country. So, their pre-season or mid-season break is during when United's pre-season actually starts. So, it was a good little game. Obviously, there was quite a few standout players in that game, a few youngsters in Toby Collier and Maxi Oyedele, in my opinion. Vitek, the goalkeeper, was very, very impressive in that game. But will any of them actually play for United this season? You could maybe make a contender for Collier or Oyedele, but I think they'll go out and get loan spells or stay in the youth setup. I don't think they really stood out enough during pre-season, and they were good, don't get me wrong. They looked sharp and composed in that midfield, but you know, I just didn't think that there was enough from, like, you know, when Kobbie Mainoo played in pre-season for United last season, you kind of saw that it looked like he was going to be a good player, where these players look like they'll only come into United's team if it's an emergency. No player really stood out, in my opinion, throughout the pre-season. But we lose to Rosenborg. It was the first game of pre-season. Players were getting used to being back. Players were getting used to the system. So it just wasn't a great game. So for me, I'll rank it probably a 5, 6 out of 10. Just an average game, in my opinion. Now, the Rangers win. That was our second game. It was a much more positive result, obviously. It was Lenny Yoro's debut. Amad Diallo scored a beautiful goal, cutting in off the right wing and smashing it across the keeper. The pressing system was a lot better. Mason Mount had a good first half, in my opinion. Obviously, each team in both first games played 45 minutes, the way Ten Hag liked to balance it out to give players some minutes. But no, Mason Mount had a very good pre-season, in my opinion. He was linking up well, Jadon Sancho as well when they played together. So yeah, the Rangers win. I thought it was a good game. Obviously, we win 2-0. Joe Hugill also scored the second goal in the second half. So yeah, I thought it was a good game. Obviously, Amad Diallo, we're going to talk about a bit later into the video, because he had a much better game against Real Betis. But no, the Rangers game, there wasn't really too much to talk about. It was just 45 minutes, two different teams. And yeah, but Lenny Yoro, he looked quite composed, he looked quite tidy. But obviously, we didn't really see much of Lenny Yoro during pre-season, which we're going to talk about because of our next game against Arsenal, which obviously the Rangers game as well. I'll give it an 7, 8 out of 10, in my opinion. Now, yes, the Arsenal game. It was an interesting one because we had a lot more first-team players back in the starting 11. We were quick to start. We scored in the first 10 minutes with Rasmus Højlund slotting it through the keeper's legs. It was a brilliant ball from Rashford as well. But despite the 90 minutes, we did lose. We lost 2-1. I'm not going to sit here and complain because it is only pre-season, but Gabriel Jesus' goal was miles offside, in my opinion. Lino, you should have done better there. Stevie Wonder could have seen that Gabriel Jesus was offside, so why can't you? Oh, probably an Arsenal fan. You probably subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV. Says no one from 2013. But anyway, that's not a dig. I really respect Arsenal Fan TV, but anyway, they're not going to see this anyway. But anyway, with Rasmus Højlund, he looked quite sharp, but then another injury happens for Rasmus Højlund, and this is where a concern is getting for me, and it's starting to bloom with Rasmus Højlund. You know, he has got the potential to be a great striker, but there's now starting a rumour to emerge that can he stay fit for more than 12 weeks? And if he can't, then United need to either back Xerxes from the first game, or we need to start looking for another striker, because Rasmus Højlund still has time to prove himself, but this is what is now 4th injury for United, and he's not even been here over a year. So it starts to become concerning, especially when you're supposed to be United's number 9. He's been given the new shirt. For God's sake. So yeah, Rasmus Højlund went off injured, wasn't good. He's supposed to be out for about 5 to 6 weeks. But Lenny Yoro, he got injured as well. And this is a massive, massive setback because United were short at centre-back as it is. We're poor in quality. And Lenny Yoro was supposed to be the exciting player that we were supposed to bring in this season. He was supposed to work alongside Lisandro Martinez. But now he is out for 3 months, which is not good whatsoever. But you know, just like last season, they've just got to get on and move on. And hopefully United can sign a centre-back. I really want Matheus de Ligt at United, but we'll have to see what happens. But Lisandro Martinez and Harry Maguire will probably be our starting centre-halves for the Community Shield and the game against Fulham. So we'll have to see unless we do sign a centre-back. But we won on penalties as well. It was an alright game. I felt like United were the better team against Arsenal, but, you know, it just wasn't our day, you could say. But yeah, the Arsenal game, it was quite entertaining, to be honest. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now, the Real Betis game, this is, for me, was our best pre-season game. You know, the system was perfect. Yes, we did concede 2 goals, but it was just sloppy defending from the goal. The goalkeeper could have done better on both. But this game was all about Amad Diallo. He ran that game for however long he played. I think it was like 62 minutes or whatever he played. So Amad Diallo was magical, I thought. And, you know, it really got me excited for how he's going to be involved with this season, obviously. He had a few brief appearances last season coming in towards the end of the season. He had that moment in the FA Cup quarter-final against Liverpool, scoring the winning goal. But for me, this was our best game, like I've said. Obviously, we got to learn Ten Hag's new system, this pressing 4-2-4 formation. You know, United were quite. I don't know what the word is, but we were unpredictable in a way because we started off as a 4-2-3-1. We were defending as a narrow 4-4-2, forcing Real Betis to go out wide. But then when it came to attacking and pressing, you know, we were playing a 4-2-4, you know. Instead of the midfielders defending narrowly, they were pushing up and were almost wide strikers almost. So it was interesting. Obviously, you had the likes of the full-backs as well moving into midfield, and we almost went to a 3-back as well. So, you know, could we see the return of the 3-1-6 formation that Ten Hag likes, or the 3-2-5 formation almost? But yeah, I thought it was a great game. Rashford scores the penalty as well. Casemiro, great strike. Obviously, he didn't really have a good pre-season in my opinion, Casemiro, but it was a good moment for him. But yes, Liverpool. Now, this was a talking point because I know it's only pre-season, but this game was just, how did we go from the Real Betis game to the Liverpool game? It was in such a short space amount of time. I know it was a different team, but in such a short space of time, we dropped off massively. And this is where the consistency this is why we failed last season, because the consistency wasn't there. We'd be great one game, we'd fall off the next. And this season, we need to make sure we're just a lot more consistent. But for me, the scoreline was pretty unfair to us. It was a game that was deserved as 0-0. United had more chances than Liverpool. We just didn't take them. And it was just poor defending, poor goalkeeping, and we just could have done a lot better. Obviously, Liverpool fans will be excited with Slot and what he's done with pre-season. You know, obviously, you've got to keep an eye on Liverpool. Who you always need to keep an eye on Liverpool. They have such quality in their squad, but I don't really get the hype around Slot. In my personal opinion, obviously, I've never watched him at Feyenoord or whatever club he was at before Liverpool. So, you know, all we have to say is how it goes on from here. But obviously, we're here to talk about United, and Casemiro just was awful. Antony, awful. You know, there was just quite a few players that just weren't good in this game. Sancho was another one of them, and it's worrying to see that these senior players, like, you can always forgive youngsters who don't have a great pre-season game, but the senior players who you know are going to be playing at least 30 games for you in the season, they can't play well for one game during pre-season. It is very concerning. Now, the conclusion I had from pre-season is that Ten Hag wants to press a lot more from the front. He wants to be a lot more aggressive. He needs to have faster players and more energy in that midfield, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Community Shield as well this weekend, because for that game, I want to see a starting 11 that is going to be starting in the Premier League. I want Joshua Zirkzee to start, but will he start? I'm not too sure. There's talks about Sancho playing as a false 9. So we'll have to see what happens there. But time's ticking. So we've got to be... we'll probably have a few behind closed door matches before the season actually starts, before the Community Shield. So no doubt we'll see how it goes. But City, you know, obviously we're going to do a preview like going into the Community Shield. But as it stands, I'm looking forward to the season, actually. It was a much better pre-season than what it was last season. So hopefully we can just stay consistent, start off strong in the league and just gain confidence. And I'm looking forward to seeing a few youth players, and hopefully they're integrated into the starting 11. Like Amas, Collier, Oyedele, they all impressed me in my opinion. So, you know, we'll have to see how they go throughout the season, but they won't start. They'll probably be involved in the first 11, maybe a few cup games, maybe training with the first team. But we do need more energy in that team. But unfortunately, unlike Kobe Mainoo in last pre-season, no youngster really stood out to me as they're going to make a difference and they're ready for senior level for Manchester United. Maybe they're ready for a few loan spells. Maybe they're all right to be introduced to the team. But United are still... I have to say it, we're still at least 5-6 signings of quality players away from just playing better football, because Rasmus Højlund's injured. Yes, we've signed Xerxes, but Xerxes yet to have a pre-season with United. So, you know, it's not good. So I'm looking forward to the season. I'm not going to put negative on it, but we just have to see how it goes. But anyway, that's been me. The games, I thought they were all right. You know, we could have played better. I really wish we won all of them. But again, it is only pre-season. It is just for fitness. It is to see what Tanaga and the managers are all about. So I do think it's going to be a good season for United. Obviously, Champions League and possibly another trophy is the requirement. But I'm making a video during the week talking about my pre-season, my United predictions and how they're going to do throughout the season, and as well my Premier League predictions. So stay tuned. It's going to be a very busy week on the channel. But anyway, like I said, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new. Let's try and get to 2K subscribers before the season actually starts. I'd love to reach that type of milestone. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.